ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's get the show on the road. Welcome to the Old Lady Hour with Lorrie and Sheryl. And today's guest is Daniel White. He is the director of the Paul Jones Museum and the University display area. I'm not sure what to call
University of Alabama Gallery.
That's right. At the Dinah Washington Cultural Arts Center in downtown Tuscaloosa. So we are kind of business mates. We're down the street from each other, from both Paul Jones on Gary Fitz Street and in Greensboro at the Cultural Arts Center Gallery. Mm-hmm. So you have a dual role.
That's right. Thank you. Yeah, it's great to be here with both of you this morning. I have a dual role. That's a nice way to put it. I run two spaces, and it keeps me pretty hopping. We put on an average of 11 exhibitions per year between the two spaces. My staff are students, so it's kind of a nice little training ground for them to get real world experience in a gallery environment.
So you're training them in just hanging the shows?
Hanging the shows. Mainly it's gallery attendance, interacting with the public, helping with receptions for our First Fridays that we both do.
And we have since we're going to do a little promo here, our First Friday's coming up February 6th, 2026, in case you're listening to this in the future. You've already missed it. Sorry, it was a good show. And so
it was a banger.
So you have, so we can do a little promo for that. I'm very excited about what this is, and so would you like to explain the February 6th show?
Oh, that we have at our spaces?
Yes.
February is always a fun month for us because we have our annual K through 12 outreach program that we adopt a local school. And so this year we adopted Holt High School. So we give the art teacher lots of financial support and material support, and they get a lot of art supplies, and they use the Jones collection as inspiration to build art projects off of. In our other space at the UA Gallery, we have Sarah Dismukes, who is a wonderful painter. She teaches at Troy University in the art department. So I look forward to that because I always love highlighting an Alabama artist in our spaces.
Yeah, and then so the teacher that you're working with at Holt High School is
Matt Doherty.
Yes, and so hey Matt, I know
hey, sorry about that.
No, he's been around the art scene for a while.
Yeah, and it's our one major outreach that we do once a year, but it's a year-round program.
Okay.
And it's unique in the sense where it's not just we hang the artwork alongside the students' work, and we make no distinction. So right now we have a wonderful Jacob Lawrence print hanging next to a student artwork, which is wonderful.
It is really great.
Because, sometimes in art museums, especially large ones, and I get it, they have education programs, but sometimes the student work is regulated to the hallway and at the Jones Museum, we make it the feature show.
That's great.
And so it's a great moment for the students and their parents and grandparents. So it's a feel-good show for us.
That's great. That's so exciting. So, and how long will that show be?
They usually run a month and a half for the K through 12. Yeah.
Okay, so you have, if you miss it this Friday or this next Friday,
it'll be up through most of February.
Okay, so and then the Sarah
Dismukes.
Dismukes, it will be there.
Yes, through February.
So same thing.
Same thing.
And I'll just make a note. Our First Friday extravaganza will be here the same night, so you can go gallery hopping that night. So we're having a grand reopening because we have new space, and the title of our grand reopening is "But Wait, There's More," because there is more. We'll have the musician Doobie Doghouse Wilson will be playing, and we will have a special feature, a food feature called Pancake at the Disco, which is very exciting. It's pancakes on sticks with all different toppings. So they're coming all the way from Atlanta. So we're excited about that, and then all of the art. We're going to have, we always have new things. We have my paintings, Liz Lane, Steve Davis sculptures, some new pottery. It's here. But anyway, it'll be an exciting night. And I think the weather's going to be okay. It won't be so cold.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Right?
So no ice, no snow, maybe no rain.
Yeah.
So, that's just a little plug in there for that.
Friday, February 6th?
Yes, the 6th. Yeah, it's coming up. So tell us a little bit about the Paul Jones collection and Mr. Paul Jones and why he has a collection.
Paul's story is very interesting. Paul applied here to the law school and was accepted originally. When they found out he was African American, they turned him down. This was back in 1949. It was during the Jim Crow era, segregation. And he went on. He wasn't deterred. He went on to the University of Delaware and got his law degree. He ended up graduating. After he graduated, he ended up being a U.S. ambassador. He worked for the White House. He started collecting art modestly. Sometimes people think, he started collecting art because when he went to art museums, he didn't see any African American artists on the wall. And so he started collecting modestly, and then it just turned into, over decades, a very sizable collection, an important collection. And in the early 2000s, the University of Alabama reached out to Paul and apologized for what had happened. And Paul was gracious about it. He wasn't bitter about it. He accepted their apology. And at the time, our dean that was here, Robert Olin, they became good friends.
Okay. And
when Paul was thinking about his legacy, he wanted to leave something noteworthy behind, because he said, I could just sell my collection, which some people do, right? They'll send it to auction or, but he said, he wanted to leave something behind. And so he ended up leaving his large part of his collection to the University of Alabama.
And how many pieces are in
The original gift was around 1,700.
Okay.
And so it was one of the most important, significant collections of African American art in the United States.
Wow.
So much so that when Mr. Jones passed, his obituary was published in major newspapers across the nation. It's grown. We've kept it going. This was back in 2000, around 2010. So we've had the collection now for 15 years. We've added to it through either gifts or purchases. And the thing that I really love about, not just from the history and what the collection is about, but what I love about the collection is Mr. Jones wanted the collection to be seen and studied and used. He was well aware that art could be, given to museums and just disappear and never see the light of day.
Sure. And I think some people do not realize what happens to a lot of artworks that they don't see on the wall. I think they do think everything is out there.
Oh yeah, and probably like less than 10% of the work you see in a museum is what is actually in their holdings. It's
They have big basements.
Very big basements, and I've worked in some of those basements, and I think some of it is just it's a lot of effort to do rotations and change things out, and
yeah. And I'm just a little side note for me as someone who paints. I didn't know that what I was seeing at a museum or maybe published in a book I thought that's what the artist did. And I'm like, well, why am I painting so much? Something's wrong with me. And then it was a relief to find out, oh no, they had tons. Like this, you just only see just a few of the works.
Right. And for me as a director, I love going when I visit colleagues. I love seeing like what's in the basement, or
right.
so to speak, because it's always fun to like look through the racks. Like, oh, I didn't know y'all had this.
That's right.
And
so the collection is stored at the university.
That's correct.
It's archived there. And
We bring it, Rowan Murray is our collection manager, and we bring it back and forth from campus.
okay.
Really, it's mainly our museum is a exhibition space.
Yes.
So to speak.
And you curate it.
Yes, we curate it together, Rowan and I, and and the students get to have jobs there, and we're even though we're downtown, we're involved. We're going to do an exhibition with a class this spring, so we're involved in the curriculum whenever we can be, and but being on Main Street's important, and I think this is very important for university museums because if you're not accessible to your public, I think that is very much a missed opportunity. And that's one of the things I like being downtown is we are in a way the welcome mat for the College of Arts and Sciences.
Right.
And
that right now it's hard to park on campus.
oh,
So,
yeah,
or impossible to park on campus if you don't
Yeah.
have a hang tag that you paid for. So when there's shows at the different campus, the art department gallery spaces, which are really great, but it's hard if you don't have any association with the university. It's just really difficult to have access.
It is, and even though there's parking garages and things like that, a general member of the public, if they're not familiar or were an alumni, a person come from out of town, or
You can't find it.
You can't find anything.
Right.
So that's something the university is going to have to address at some point, or not, I guess. But yes, I do think as a university museum, being downtown and involved in the community is a wonderful thing to have.
Sure, yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
And so, and what are your normal hours, just so we can, we'll
We're
post
open.
this?
We're we're open weekdays Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay, so
Yeah.
like normal, if you're just downtown bopping around,
Popping around.
you can go in and
Yep.
see some great art. And also, so let's talk a little bit about the University Gallery at the Dine in Washington. So that's a completely different space.
It is. That's kind of more of our more of a free-form gallery space. We can kind of do a lot of different types of programming there. And so we put about 5 shows up there per year, and 5 to 6, and who's counting? And we do like an MFA show every year, for the art department, which we're part of. So.
So the MFA is Masters in Fine Arts for the students at graduating the
Right.
university. And then the other shows are just at
At our discretion.
you just decide.
We choose artwork shows that we feel like. I usually say it's shows that we feel that the students need to see or should see. And so to help inform and create diverse programming, because we have the Sarah Moody Gallery on campus, and they have a wonderful collection, and they do programming all year round, except for during the summer. But together we present a diverse range of exhibitions, because they do things at Sarah Moody that we can't do.
That's right.
So
it's just like you have to be kind of public friendly as well
yeah,
for kids who are also out there.
yeah.
So anyway, that show is going on now, and I just think a lot of people, I've met them here for like a First Friday or during the week, they are always surprised at how much art there is downtown.
There is, and one thing I will say that I love about Tuscaloosa is our First Friday is unique in the sense, and I've heard a lot of art colleagues from out of town compliment us on the fact that they love that it is really, you can just walk around to each gallery
Yeah,
space.
we're all pretty close to each other.
And I don't think that's something you can find in a lot of towns. I don't think you can find that in Birmingham, even though now Birmingham has galleries, but typically you'll have to drive.
Yeah, they're a little more spread
Yeah.
out. So yeah. Anyway, we always want more. We always want more art.
Right.
So.
That's right.
Hey, so if you're an artist, you want to open up downtown, we'll help you.
Yes, that's right. So yeah, and but yeah, that's what's interesting about our community here, because you run a full-time art studio, and I run full-time art galleries
Yes.
for the university, and Jim has his collection at the Harrison
The
Gallery.
Harrison Gallery, and they do, Jim Harrison also does a lot of community exhibitions and MFA shows,
Yeah.
so
So yeah,
yeah,
it's a wonderful little ecosystem.
it's fun.
Hey, do you like what you're hearing? Hit that like button for us. Show us a little love. And while you're here, why not add a comment or two? Because we love hearing from you. Thanks.
So you also are trained as an artist.
That's right. Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about your art background as an artist yourself.
It's interesting. I went to art school. I went to the University of Montevallo.
Oh, okay, which is a wonderful place.
Right, and I graduated in 2000, and then I went to graduate school. And when I came back from graduate school, I was teaching a summer class, and afterwards, the class, the administrative assistant in the art office asked me, Carol asked me what I was going to do after the class. I was like, well, I just finished my studies, my thesis. I really hadn't had time to figure that out yet, and so she mentioned that the Birmingham Museum of Art was hiring some part-time workers.
Oh, okay.
And so that is actually how I got involved with museum work, because I had visions of being an artist, but then I realized after working at the BMA, like, oh wow, I get paid to do this, right? And so, that was wonderful. I did that for a while, and it eventually turned into a full-time gig. But yes, I've always been an artist, and even now, I often think that staying creative keeps me grounded, and it keeps me. It helps me be a better director. It helps me be, But I usually do a 1 or 2 shows a year of my own work. That may not sound like much to people, but
No, that's a lot.
it can be a lot if you're doing a brand new body of work.
Right,
And
that's
so,
You have to keep going.
have to keep going. But yeah, I love making art and being able to talk shop with artists, and
Yeah, so we'll post some of your photos so you can see it.
you're kind.
And do you have an upcoming show?
It's interesting. I did a solo show at Moss Contemporary in Birmingham, which was just a dream. It was a wonderful exhibition and just a great experience. And after that, I did a brand new body work for that exhibition. And then afterwards, I did a show at Troy University this fall. And between those 2 shows, I think I kind of was like, I didn't really plan anything yet for 2026.
But that's fine. But
So-
I mean, that's because you do have like
Right.
these other things you have to do.
And now I'm taking a ceramics class again, so I'm getting back into ceramics, and that's been a humbling experience after not touching clay for years.
So yeah, how do you find that? Because just my own personal experience is that and I don't have an art degree, but I did I did plenty of art classes, and I love drawing, love painting. I once took a pottery class. Everyone else was throwing on the wheel, having a good time, and I never could get anything. Like, it was just, and I'm like, I didn't like it. So I love for other people to do it.
I don't know where this notion got to be, where it's like, oh, let's take a pottery class. It'll be calming and therapeutic.
No.
There is nothing, at least for me, I don't know, but it is work. It is.
Well, and I think there are people that like the feel of the clay, and and like for me, I just didn't like putting my hands in it. So that, which is weird, but that's just a thing for me.
It's a humbling medium, because it will. So even if you get the bowl thrown and trimmed and everything, and then it's like, okay, now we got to burn it. So can you imagine doing a painting and then let's burn it to finish it?
throw it in this oven and see if it survives. And
Thousands of degrees.
now it's got an air bubble and it explodes.
Yeah.
I mean, I have lots of friends who are fabulous potter. They do such beautiful work.
Right.
And I'm like, good.
And that's the thing about it, because right when you think you're about to leave, it's something, and it lures you back in. And so, but it can be, I find it, for me, I enjoy, for me, I'm not trying to like get work to have a show with. Really, it's more of like a way to interact with students while I'm on campus and engage with the university in a different capacity than my job.
Okay,
and
nice.
I think it's just a fun way to just kind of stay creative and
So are you doing more functional pieces or more
vessel-based
sculptural
work,
Okay, yeah.
and decorative pieces. I'm not a potter.
Yeah.
To be honest,
This is just for.
I never was a potter. I always did decorative pieces, so I very much the painter work of dabbling in ceramics kind of thing, like let's paint with glazes, like.
Yeah, that's it. So my daughter Liz Lane, who's a painter and fellow artist, she wanted to do some pottery, and I was like, you can't just do it. Like it's going to take up all your time for a while. It's really hard. So she had a friend who did the bisque bowls, and then she just painted them with acrylic paint.
Oh, well, that's how you do it.
She had a great time with that. So.
I mean, the famous painter, Picasso did ceramics, but he worked with a potter, and they made all the pieces.
Right.
So he got the fun part where he could just decorate, and
Sure.
so did Matisse and other other artists. So even the great artists knew better to try to learn this medium.
You can't do everything on your own. Collaboration is really good, and so and it's good to. That's one of the things which is great about art is that it is collaborative, and one of the things that we collaborate with really are people seeing it. So not just the other artists, but it does no good to just have it for ourselves. So that's part of the collaboration. So what you're doing is extremely collaborative.
Oh yeah, well yeah, and I do. I'm glad you said that, because collaboration is very much a wonderful part of this whole thing we do sometimes. I mean, being able to interact with other artists and everybody brings their talents to the table.
So yeah, and I would just mention our producer over here, without which we could not have this show. And I'll just throw in a little side note to our sponsor, Lorrie Lane Studio, and also overly helpful Helene. When you need someone who's overly helpful, call Helene.
Helene!
So that's our sponsor notice.
Oh, that's good. That's good. But yeah, I love your new space, Lorrie.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I hope everyone gets to come in and look at it. We had a little party Saturday, which was thankfully the rain gods and the ice gods looked friendly upon us. We were able to have our event. So we were very fortunate with that. And then having a studio is one of the things that is really important for artists. So do you have a place at home that you work?
Yes. I have the extra bedroom in the house.
Okay.
So yes, when we were looking for a house here, we got one with an extra bed, which is so kind of my family to.
Well, you need that space. I mean,
Right.
And so I've been fortunate enough too to have this location for now. This is I think 6 going on 7 years, and having even more space is even better. But it's very. I was talking to someone recently about that. It's just like really hard to keep studio space going. So
It is, and a friend of mine, we've been talking recently about the idea of the third space, whether literal or metaphorical.
Right.
And, I think that's also maybe what the ceramics is giving me is as a place to be creative outside my own studio, as weird as that sounds. Like, yeah, I have a studio. What else could you want, right? But you can't do the two in the same space.
Right.
So
yeah, and
you can't do ceramics in a painting studio.
You
right?
can't. No, you can't.
So-
But also just like being around other people
Mm-hmm.
and having. I'm assuming you have an instructor there.
Oh yes, I'm taking a class. So I just want to be clear. I'm auditing the class. I'm not getting a grade, which
Okay.
I don't think I can like go to class consistently enough to make grades because sometimes things come up in my job. And but yes, I think that was also the hardest thing about art school is after you graduate, you spend all this time making work in a communal environment.
Yeah.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you graduate and then
You're just on your own.
yeah, so I mean, even though it's like if you're painting by yourself all the time, that's real different from working in a ceramic studio.
Right.
Then you have people around, and that instantly creates a community and a dialogue, and you instantly start to talk about how everybody's lives are going, and things like that. So community, like art studios are important, but communities are just as important because we have to have a healthy. We have to. We're humans, right? We need to interact.
Well,
and
yeah. I mean, even if you're an introvert, you don't need to be in solitary
Yeah.
all day. And so, I mean, some people do not mind creating and being by themselves. I'm not one of those people. I need to be out, which is kind of why I'm here. But
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why Lorrie has a storefront.
yes,
Yeah.
like even during COVID, at least I could see people like walking up and down on the sidewalk. So it wasn't like just. And also just being able to see other people's reaction to what I'm doing helps me figure out, some things as well.
do you think that you could have a studio that was like not public facing, or do you think you enjoy that?
Oh, I enjoy the interaction.
Uh-huh.
So please interrupt me because
Yeah. I've known some artists that would go weeks without like seeing people. I'm like, how do you do this? This
well,
is like,
I don't know.
I mean, they work in the privacy of their home, and that's their like introvert heaven. And I'm like, wait. And now that I've been a public director for so long, and it's like I don't think I could do that.
No,
Like,
I could not. Yeah, I mean, and even I've been in situations with studios outside my house where there's just not very many people coming in and out, and I would just call it my art prison. I mean, I could be pretty productive. I was doing a lot of work, but I wasn't happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is, I don't know, if I need to do something with a lot of concentration, I have plenty of time to do that. But I am an extrovert, so I need the people. So send me the people. You're not bothering me if you come in.
Y'all come.
I can lock the door if I need to, but I don't.
Yeah, and I think that's also important for our students to realize, because I think being able to interact with the public and dialogue and all that, those are all important skills.
It is.
And especially as an artist, you have to communicate and know how to interact and just be part of a community.
And you are, a professional artist in both capacities, and you running a director of museums and exhibition space, and then doing your own work. And I think there's not like, you can't just like, okay, I have an art degree, now I'm going to work for big art corp.
Yeah,
it doesn't exist.
That's sometimes the trouble in the humanities is like trying to prove our value and worth, and especially at a university that is really big with the business school, the law school, the engineering, nursing. I don't want to leave anybody out. If I did, I'm sorry, but I think in the humanities we have a certain set of skills that are important, but it's hard to put a price tag on.
Well, if we take it all away,
Yeah.
people would notice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's, we're really important
Right.
for society.
And I think that we can play good roles as, our as creative thinkers, as critical thinkers, as we can solve, we think differently, we solve things differently than a traditional, I'm very, I'm very right-brained.
Yes.
So
I can never remember which one. I'm so whatever that is. I
and
can't
so
remember
yeah, and so like growing up, my father was a mechanic and owned an auto shop, and he had a very much an engineering mind. He could build anything, right?
Okay.
And of course, growing up, I was abstract. I couldn't change. I never took to, and he knew that about me. I was never mechanical. I was much more abstract, and he was kind enough to recognize that when I was young, and so he never tried to steer me in his direction. So.
Well, but I think art and fixing things, engineering, they're problem solving. So it's in different ways.
Sure.
But
Absolutely.
yes, but definitely in really different ways.
Right. So I think we all as a society can play a role if we all support one another. And
Well, and part of the role of Paul Jones, I'll just go back to that a little bit, which is that, it's representing artists who were not represented. And,
That's right.
And really leading to a society that does not, that was not valued. So, and then the recent exhibit you had was a photography of historical event.
the February 1956.
Yes.
The author and Lucy.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And so, that really art was also documentation for, that was the first African-American student enrolled at the university, and things did not go well.
No. And what was fascinating about that exhibit was not just the historical event that took place, but the fact that I don't even think the university knew those photos existed.
That's really interesting.
And
yeah.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
And the photographer's son had these images, and he told me about them, and that's, and it was interesting because I think, if I'm correct, it was the first time these photographs have ever been on display. And so we were so proud as a museum to be able to do this exhibition.
And the museum gives something, legitimacy and validity. And so
Right.
some people who might think, oh, these aren't important, they're like, oh, no, this is important.
This is important, yes. And museums, we have traditional exhibitions, and sometimes we have different types of exhibitions. So,
Who would you say would be one of the more famous artists in the collection?
I already mentioned, Jacob Lawrence.
Jacob Lawrence, very
Sam
well known.
Gilliam. We have really big artists in the collection like that.
Do you have a favorite? Put
You
on
know,
the
people.
spot.
That's what's funny is people ask me when the public comes in, what's your favorite piece in the
I
exhibition?
get asked that all the time.
And it's funny because I try to come up with a stock answer because I know it's going to get asked, and and that's fine.
Yeah.
But I always like to say, it changes every day, and really that's true because.
Right.
Some pieces I won't notice, and then one day I'll look out and be, oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. I get asked that here, which is funny. Which of these paintings is your favorite painting?
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, well,
Who's your favorite child?
That's exactly. I said it's just I'm going to say my favorite painting is the one you're going to buy. I don't.
Yeah. And whichever one you like.
Whichever. But it is a funny question. The other question I get asked and we get asked all the time is, how long did this take you to paint? And I'm like, I don't know, my whole life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
So.
There's that's what's interesting about, we're so used because, with sports, how fast does somebody run?
Yeah.
How,
we want to
we want numbers, we want data,
Yeah.
Data in art is very tricky, even from the art museum, art historical side,
Sure.
because it's always evolving and changing.
Yes.
I don't think we've actually recovered numbers from COVID nationally for art museums. Art museums
people
are
attending.
people attending, and so not to change subjects, but we're very much dealing with a lot of things that a lot of businesses are still dealing with.
Well, and things go online, and
Yeah.
so people, I'm saying that if you see a piece of art on your phone on Instagram, it is not the same as seeing it up close
Yeah.
and personal. And so I just really encourage people to just
Yeah.
kind of get out, see them, and then you work for the Birmingham Museum. it's a great resource. It's a really nice,
It's a wonderful museum.
It's like it's not overwhelming, but it has plenty in there, and it's like to me, it's always a friendly space.
Right.
My only working there was for a few years. I taught at the museum school, the studio school.
Okay.
In the basement.
Oh, yeah.
So
I know where
it's
that
down
is.
in the basement. So I did community oil painting classes for a while. And it was really fun. It was really just fun to be over there.
And the thing about the Birmingham Museum of Art is, and I don't know if people realize this in the general public, but even though they advertise it, but it's always been free.
Yes,
it's
right. Free. It's free
for
parking.
all, and it's free parking. So I mean,
as I said, it's kind of a friendly space. It's got a nice sculpture garden outside.
It's a real great collection. And
what was your role there?
when I was at the BMA, I was part of the prep department. And so our role was installing, deinstalling, very much the hands-on part of it.
Okay, did that make you nervous with the art, or did you get used to it?
Sometimes. I mean, when you're cleaning a Del Chihuly piece on the wall on a scaffold.
Those are glass. Like
those are
lots of glass.
right? Or things like that. Yes, that can be nerve-wracking. We would have. That was actually when I was there during a wonderful era of they were bringing in a lot of big shows.
Yeah.
So 18-wheelers, crates, you name it. But yes, we would handle some pretty, but whether it was heavy or small, you never really knew the value of something.
Sure.
Something small could be just as valuable as something,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But it's one of those things where kind of like doctors, like surgeons don't think about their surgery
Sure.
while they're doing surgery.
Yeah, because they're just doing
Right.
it.
So I'm just doing my job.
Yeah.
Right. So,
yeah, I mean,
and sometimes I'll look back like,
Yeah.
wow, that was something. Like,
well, behind the scenes of the artwork, behind the scenes at the exhibitions, we are dealing with physical objects.
Right,
And so I get like real casual with it because I don't care. I'm like, and I'll be like throwing paintings around. Cheryl's seen me like lifting them, hanging them up high. Like I don't think anything of it. So, because we're just kind of used to it.
And when one time we had to take the Bierstadt looking down over Yosemite Valley out of the frame.
That thing is huge.
So the frame itself was about 500 pounds.
Wow.
And it's a gorgeous painting on its own.
That painting's beautiful.
That painting came from Chicago, and it was actually during the Chicago fire that happened, the famous fire, right?
Okay, right.
O'Leary's cow.
Right.
Everybody knows the story, right? So it was interesting because a conservator came, and while it was unframed, decided, well, let's get this thing cleaning. She said, I couldn't figure it out. This is Magali Moss. She's a wonderful furniture conservator. And she was showing us, she couldn't figure out why there was these black, it turns out this black stuff coming off on her rags. And she figured out that this was soot that had been
From the Chicago
fire over 100 years later.
Wow.
Oh my.
And so there's little anecdotes like that of things you can only experience if you're there.
Yeah.
That is just so fascinating.
That really is.
Some of the history and some of the little nuances of where a curator will say, oh, check this out. This is like cast iron earrings.
Sure.
That, are, this is, things like that, like the Wedgwood collection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so for my ceramics background, that was
great.
just fascinating.
Yeah.
And so you learn not just the art of how something's beautiful, but you also learn the history behind it. And
Well, as I said, because they're objects, and they're objects through time.
yes,
So they'll collect dust from a long time ago, or they had a use. Someone was using this, like especially in the Wedgwood. Some of those things were probably not all of them. People were eating. Or there's a big collection of African the big bowls and pottery.
Oh yes, and there was a big gift by Dickie Jemison.
Yeah, and those
that
things
he
are
gave.
those are huge. I don't know how they make them.
And one last thing, the thing about, there's also the Sèvres porcelain that was the French porcelain. And the thing about things just get lost through time. And the thing about the Sèvres porcelain was that during its day, it was so sought after and revered, and that wars were fought over it.
Wow.
And so.
Right.
I mean, it's hard to believe now, but here we are.
It was the Cabbage Patch Kids of the time.
Or you read about the background of one of the paintings in the American collection. You realize, oh my gosh, like I couldn't believe that artist. Like how did they paint? Like how did they get?
Well, and painting now is a little bit. It's easy because we can just order tubes of paint. It's already pre-mixed. We got all this, pre-stretched canvas. You don't have to do all the little steps that we take for granted. But at some point, well, I think artists used to have more assistance too. But you might have to grind the pigments, and I mean some of the pigments used to be worth their weight in. Well, there's still
lapis lazuli.
Yeah,
the
which is
blue,
now it's
bright.
Now it's synthetic. That's why it's French ultramarine, because it was but that's the cheaper paint now. But there's a history behind each pigment.
Oh, for sure.
So we could just go on, which we won't for the value of our listeners.
But the thing about the BMA, the thing with and I've said this before about the whole ecosystem of art. There's museums around the state that are great.
Yes.
The Mobile Museum of Art just opened up a wonderful Louise Nevelson show. And I can't remember the last time I've.
Right.
Montgomery Museum of Art has a great permanent collection.
It really does.
Huntsville Museum of Art has some good shows going on. So, and for us, where do we fit in? The Paul R. Jones Museum. And I think the thing for us is that every time we do a solo show, we try to bring in an artist that it'll be one of their first or museum solo shows, because we are well aware of the fact that we can give a good opportunity to an artist that may not have that opportunity yet in the bigger museums. So for us, we try to, for us as an identity as a museum, even though we're a small museum, that's the role that we can help play and help support artists.
It's kind of like in the musical system, you might be like the first bar.
Yeah, like a mid-sized gig or something.
Where the Alabama Shakes used to play, and then,
that's right.
That's
And, thank God, we've had such generous support from the Alabama State Council on the Arts, as many of us do. And so they help make all those big shows possible.
So that's great. That's the donors for the art are really important.
Yes.
Our patrons are very important.
Yes, our supporters, right?
Right.
So,
however that is.
So yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I think this has been very enlightening about all kinds of things.
Thank you, Lorrie.
And we look forward to having further discussions as we go on with our art world. So, Sheryl, you know what time it is.
Not yet.
Not yet?
First, I have to remind our listeners that the Old Lady Hour with Lorrie and Sheryl is brought to you exclusively by Lorrie Lane Studio at 2420 Gary Fitz Street, downtown Tuscaloosa. Or catch us online at www.lorrielaneart.com.
Okay, thanks. I forget to do the promos. So, but you know what time it is now.
Now it's time to watch our show.
It's time to watch our shows.